Amy, let me tell you about a magical place that is so exactly designed to be enclosed space, year-round fun for the whole family that I bet you already know what I'm going to say before I even say the name. Let's say it together on 3. 1, 2, 3. Great Wolf Lodge. You got it, Amy.
My kids loved Great Wolf Lodge when we went. You probably already know that it has a huge indoor water park with a wave pool, lazy river, a bunch of massive water slides. But then your pack can hit the other attractions because wait, there's more.
Great Wolf Lodge has adventure-packed attractions like Magi Quest, a live-action game kids can play throughout the lodge, plus the Northern Lights Arcade. Spent some quality time there, so your kid who loves the lazy river and your kid who loves fantasy games will both have a great time.
Great Wolf Lodge also offers great dining options and complimentary daily events like nightly dance parties, all under one roof. Unpack the car once and you're settled in to have fun. And with 22 lodges across the country, you're always a short drive away from adventure.
We've both had such great times at Great Wolf Lodge, so bring your pack together at a lodge near you. Learn more at greatwolf.com and strengthen the pack. Hello and welcome to Ask Margaret from What Fresh Hell, laughing in the face of motherhood, solving your parenting dilemmas one question at a time. Today's question comes from our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/whatfreshhellcast. And this is from Lauren, who says, tips for a 4-year-old who legit panics about getting his hair washed. How can we make this better? At this point, we are washing his hair like once a month. It is so bad. It's confusing because he has had times when he was okay with it in the past. It seems like he will randomly be somewhat okay, but 99% of the time he screams. It's really sad. I have a dry washcloth so that I can keep the water off of his face, and I try to have him too with his head back so the water won't get in his face, but he still flips out. We tried having bath, shower, laying him on the back in the tub. All of them are equally upsetting for him. My husband thinks we need to wash his hair more frequently so that it doesn't become such an unusual event. He thinks he probably dreads it because it happens so infrequently. Thoughts? I had a kid who also really hated to be in the bath, and I think probably what needs to happen is you need to get underneath what is going on here. With a 4-year-old, you have a chance of having a conversation about this. So I would try to get your 4-year-old involved. I think once a month is probably too infrequently to be washing his hair, but I don't think going to nightly and making it a nightly battle is necessarily the answer either. I want to point you to an article from yourkidstable.com, and it is called Here's a Method to Help Kids That Hate Hair Washing by Alicia Grogan. And there are so many good tips here. And she begins, as I did, with what's the problem? Why is this kid having such a hard time getting their hair washed? And likely this is connected to some sort of sensory sensitivity. So it's good to get to the bottom of what's going on. It's possible for a lot of kids with vestibular sensitivity that the sensation of being tipped backwards is part of what is bothering them in the tub. If you think about a kid who feels stable sitting in the tub, when you tilt them backwards, they feel like they're going to fall into the water. And so one thing you can try right away is putting a strong hand on their shoulder and helping them kind of ground themselves while you're washing their hair. And if you find that with that strong hand on their shoulder and really supporting them, that they have an easier time tipping back, that could be a sign that it is this vestibular sensitivity, and that may help solve the problem. Another thing is that they may feel sensitive to the shampoo. Getting their head scrubbed. They may feel sensitive to the smell of the shampoo. So it's worthwhile trying to have a conversation with your kid about what part of the hair washing seems to be bothering them. Also possible that they're sensitive to water being dumped over their head. That can be a really startling experience. And so one thing you might try is letting your kid have more control, letting them take the lead in washing their hair. You're going to put the shampoo on their hair. They're going to scrub it in, and then you're going to give them a clean cup of water to dump and get the water out. Possibly, if your child feels like they have a little bit more control over what's happening in the bath, the hair washing will be easier. Another thing that you can try, which is suggested in the Your Kids Table article, which I hadn't thought of and I hadn't done, but it seems like a great idea, is bringing in a mirror, holding up a mirror. They can hold it on their own, a 4-year-old probably. Otherwise, you can kind of tilt a mirror where they can see themselves, it may help them to feel, again, in control of the experience, where they can see, here comes the water. You want to narrate everything that's going on. And so then as you're narrating, start to look for the clues for what part of this is bothering your child. So as you pour the shampoo into their hands, let's smell it. If you see that that's a problem, that may be the issue. Let's scrub your hair. And as you're scrubbing it, is that part of the problem? Is it the tipping back? The more you can be a detective and get to the part of this that is bothering your kid, the better results that you'll have. It's also something to talk about outside of the tub. You might find a book on the subject of, Janie takes a bath, and you might read it and talk about what parts of getting your hair washed might feel out of control or scary for your kid. So this is something you want to be working on all the time, because if you just address it the second they go into the bath, they've had some negative experiences and they're already freaking out at the idea. So you may practice this outside of the tub. Let's play hair wash, and you may go through the steps of it and again do that detective work to try to figure out what's going on. The other thing you might consider, which I had for one of my kids, is a bath visor. You've probably seen them. You can get them anywhere on Amazon or whatever. It's a visor that goes over your kid's head so that the water doesn't fall into their face while you rinse their hair. If the water in the face is the part that is bothering them, a visor might really help. And then I think you can wash sparingly as you're figuring this out. I would aim for once a week. That would be my first goal. Make sure, of course, that you're using a no-tear soap, nothing that's going to irritate their eyes. Go with a really, really gentle shampoo. You want to take all the barriers out of the way. You want to talk about this outside the tub. You want to be a detective and figure out what's causing the problem. And in that way, bring a little bit more calmness into bath time. Lauren, I hope that helps. If you have a question for myself or Amy, you can ask them on our Facebook group, or you can send them to questions@whatfreshhellpodcast.com, and you may hear your question answered on an upcoming episode. Thanks so much for listening.
Stitch Fix. Shopping is hard. Let's talk about it.
I don't have time to shop for clothes.
I have to buy everything in 3 sizes to find one that fits. They know me at the post office.
Workout wear is my only wear.
Stitch Fix makes shopping easy. Just show your size, style, and budget, and your stylist sends personalized looks right to your door. No subscription required, plus free shipping and returns.
Oh, wow, that was easy.
Stitch Fix, online personal styling for everyone. Take your style quiz today at stitchfix.com.